Hello and welcome to fresh new edition of CEO's Talk Sustainability. Today we have with us Jai Shroff of UPL to talk about the sustainability thrust across the globe and how is his company really gearing up for this new challenge. Jay, always a pleasure to speak to you. Now, my first question, you have a global approach, the company is global, and you have much more exposure than the other companies which are in your sectors of business. How have you navigated the ESG as well as the sustainability area? And what is it that you would like to tell the companies which are operating in the similar space?
Thank you very much, Nisha. It is good to see you. It's always a pleasure to talk to you guys. At UPL, the journey of sustainability began a long time ago, and it came from a completely different source. It came because UPL is the leading company globally in agriculture, and we are by far the number one company in smallholder farmers. Today, UPL is not only number one in India but in Africa, which are two major markets with smallholder farmers in Central America, etc. And we've always realized that sustainability is beyond the scope of just what we do in our factory or our industrial space or our eco space. And so a few years ago, we said we need to follow a different principle, and we said we need to reimagine sustainability across the value chain of our business, and we need to not only focus on our factories, our labor, our environment around our factories, and support the whole local community, but really focused on our customers and what are the technologies which we can bring to really remove the challenges being faced by the smallholder farmers. And so we came with a new purpose, a new drive called Reimagining Sustainability, and that's been our platform for the last 4 or 5 years, where we are reimagining everything as far as sustainability is concerned, and looking at everything from a completely new lens. And that is driving a lot of the transformation which we are seeing, and you're seeing today at UPL. And everybody in UPL, every employee of ours across the 138 countries is thinking about this
Yes.
constantly, and that's how we are seeing this huge transformation happening across so many aspects.
You made a very important point there, Jay, that it's not just about the company, your vendors, business partners, as well as your clientele. All of them have to really comply with the overall sustainability ecosystem. How do you ensure that? Are there any innovative ideas that UPL had to follow?
Absolutely. At UPL, we believe that sustainability cannot cost you more. Maybe in the short term, you have to invest a little bit more money, or you have to retrain your people. But long term, the value which you get from being more sustainable, reducing water, when you reduce your water consumption in your plant, when you recycle your water, you reduce the waste. Today, everybody is paying for discharging of waste. You're paying for water. If you reduce energy consumption by using better technology, your actually energy costs are so high. So in the end, when you actually talk to your not only your team but also your suppliers, and you encourage them to adopt newer and better and more efficient technologies, you eventually get there is so much which you can actually reduce the cost and actually become more and more competitive. So the notion that being
Hmm.
sustainable is more expensive and you're going to spend more money is not true at all. At UPL,
Hmm.
we are probably the most competitive company in the world in our industry.
Hmm.
And we are the most sustainable, and we are constantly challenging ourselves on improving energy consumption, water consumption, investing socially on so many social projects around our factories. We do it in Brazil, in Colombia, in Mexico, in Indonesia, in every developing part in Africa. We're doing so many projects to in the environment of where we have our infrastructure. Saying that, and then you become part of the community, and that also helps you in challenging times. So the notion that sustainability is a bigger cost is not true at all. I believe
Hmm.
that eventually it lowers your cost. Besides
Hmm.
that, you can borrow money much cheaper if you are recognized as a more sustainable company.
You made some very important points there, Jay, because the cost dynamics is something which may be one of the big hurdles for smaller companies with smaller balance sheet to really look at this particular journey immediately, because it straight away can hit your bottom line, though it's an investment in future. What will you tell the companies who have very little maneuverability when it comes to balance sheet, and also they have to respond to the public markets in terms of the performance? What is the mind shift change that really needs to happen?
We work with a lot of our suppliers. We engage with them. We support them financially. We, if needed, or we just retrain their people, their management, their production people. As I said again, there is no choice, right? The choice is very limited. You have to rethink it. And as you become more and more compliant with better standards of sustainability, you will see your business grow. You will see it more profitable because today it is voluntary, right? People are voluntarily doing it. I see a period of time going forward where it's not going to be voluntary, it's going to be mandatory. Today, if you
Yes.
have a coal mine or a coal power plant, you cannot get funding for that anymore. There's no way you can. But if you do more any kind of water or energy conservation, you will be able to get funding for that. So obviously, it is a distraction, but it is something which, in the end, will build a much stronger business. Your business partners will prefer to do business with you. You will get priorities, and companies who are not able to invest in technologies for improving and becoming more sustainable will be out of business. I don't see
Yes.
10 years from now those companies being able to be in business.
Right. So it's going to be mandatory and it's not a choice, you mentioned. But you also made a very important point, which can be a key motivator for companies to embark on this now itself, Jay, which is that it will show up in your ability to raise funds and attract investors at a much cheaper cost, or the valuations will become higher. Have you seen this really play out? How have investors responded as UPL has gone on the sustainability path? Give us some sense on that.
So just to tell you, UPL has in the last 3 years been ranked number one in our industry, very high in the chemical industry, and we are ranked globally. This is not India. This is the Dow Jones Sustainability Index or Sustainalytics. We are rated number one, and this actually has come because we started our journey much before this whole excitement around sustainability got the global attention. And so once we started showcasing all our things which we are doing and ongoing, how we are reducing our carbon, uh, we were able to actually, to be honest, not many of the today when we talk to our bankers, our investors, we often talk about our sustainability, but since it is very well validated and it is documented and we are recognized for all that. It's a discussion which happens. but it is something which people are now taking as a part of what UPL does and is. And so the discussion goes on to other growth business aspects and how we are performing and all the technologies which we are bringing in this space to be more sustainable, to make farmers more resilient, to reduce the impact of climate change on the food system. And we are much beyond our factory today, right? We are
Right.
our commitment is to really make every food product more sustainable in the world.
In terms of your goals for UPL, in terms of reaching ESG standards and sustainability, what are the landmarks and the milestones that you've set for yourself, Jay?
So while we have committed to reduce, be net zero in the next 15 years or so, we think we'll achieve that target much before. It is something which we are committed to. We are committing to reduce 25% in the next 5 years. We would reduce our water consumption and our carbon emission by more than 25%. Actually, even 50% with some of the initiatives which we are driving. What we are more focused with is how do we reduce the impact of agriculture, climate change on agriculture? How do we reduce the use of excessive use of fertilizer, which our Prime Minister is so committed to? How do we bring soil health back? How do we, decarbonize the world using every farmer? How do you incentivize every farmer to decarbonize the world? How do you really, reduce the water? We are committed to reduce the water in sugarcane by 30 to 40% with our technology. We are committing to reduce fertilizer by 30 to 40%. We are committed next year to save about 8 million tons of carbon emission through our technology platform at Nurture with the CRM project of ours. So there's so many initiatives in India, and then there are projects in Brazil and in US and in other countries in Latin America and Africa, where we are working with governments and creating an environment where farmers can be rewarded for more sustainable practices and using those technologies.
So, Jay, how receptive has the ecosystem been to these changes, especially the farmers, the government, and are there any specific challenges that you have faced in this journey?
So obviously, to start with, we signed up with FIFA Foundation, which was a very unusual partnership. But FIFA Foundation has a huge mandate, and President Macri, who's the president of FIFA Foundation, and us had a couple of meetings, and he got really excited about this initiative about how do we include farmers and the whole food system in this fight for climate change. And if we are able to reward and recognize farmers and you will see a more sustainable practice. I believe a 5% improvement in farming practices, more sustainable practices, can be a key enabler to fight climate change and to decarbonize the world. So when we go with that purpose, most governments, most politicians don't understand how to execute that. And what UPL has been able to do is, with pilot projects, with discussions, with showcases, we've been able to show them that agriculture can actually be a key driver to fight climate change and to decarbonize the world. And we are seeing a lot of excitement around it within the Indian government, within the international governments, within the other multilateral agencies, and we are driving this. And I think the momentum is catching up. And we have this amazing target of 1 billion tons of carbon sequestration through agriculture. It's called the Gigaton Challenge, and we launched it in Brazil last year, and then we are rolling it out in all the countries, and we're getting tremendous support from the governments in all these countries. and we are well on our way. So these sort of things are happening,
Right.
and we are getting a lot of positive support from everybody we talk to.
All right, and your energy and passion on this subject, Jay, has been infectious. But I'd like to ask you, the climate consciousness or environment part of ESG is much easily actionable, understood, or even measured. But the S and the G part, there lies the critical gray areas which are not easily monitorable. Now, looking at the society, the social culture, the diversity, what is UPL doing on that particular front?
UPL is a very, very transparent company, and we communicate across all layers of organization. Having presence in 130 countries around the world, there's no other way to communicate with your team. So our goals and our missions are very well communicated through our teams and through the local communities. So socially, UPL is actually every location in the world where we operate, whether it's Costa Rica, Ghana, or it's Argentina, or Chile, or Colombia, or any other part of the world. Obviously, India, we have been recognized as one of the most generous companies in the country in terms of social spending, and we are constantly finding projects and initiatives where we can make a bigger and bigger impact. We have tree plantation, we have forestry, we are saving the Saras crane. We are doing so many different initiatives because we can. We have a huge team of people executing projects. We focus on areas where we have our investments, so the local community and our employees can participate in the whole process, because it has to be like that. And this is going on. We spend millions and millions of dollars around the world on social impacting projects, and we actually measure the impact. Whether it's our project in Brazil is to support children who are orphans, and we get them when they are young, see them through university, and it's an amazing project. A lot of other NGOs support it. We do different things in different parts of the world. It's a book. We published a book, and it's thicker than our balance sheet, actually.
So, articulation of your ESG efforts is equally important, I understand, Jay. But what about gender diversity? It's my favorite question.
Yeah, so general diversity is always a big challenge, but I'll tell you some examples. We have some fantastic projects. So almost 60% of our workforce in Chile is women. And I keep requesting them. I said, please let us know which one of you is mobile. We'd love to take you to other parts of the world. So we encourage gender and just cultural diversity. We don't really emphasize on gender because that's also not correct. We will request people from different parts of the world to come and work in India or Africa or Europe or the US, and we encourage a lot of cross-cultural diversity in the organization, and we have in every part of the world. Latin America is a classic example where I believe that we may even have a 50-50 women workforce. In India, the Nurture team has done an amazing job of hiring. In a state like Haryana, we've hired a women workforce who work on a part-time or it's like a Uberized model where they can flexi hours and they can get paid by task, and that has been very, very successful. And that project is actually one of the more exciting projects where in a state like Haryana we are able to, and people who would not allow their daughters or daughter-in-laws to work are now telling us that, oh, my daughter-in-law does this, can my daughter also do that? Because these girls who actually had no jobs or no ability to work in villages are now getting employed by UPL and creating an income, and some of them earn 20 and 30,000 rupees a month on
Right.
part-time basis. So they can
Mm.
finish their housework, they can go work for 3, 4, 5 hours, execute their work, and they get paid by task. It is all digital. They get their
Right.
money in their account, and we are starting to see a huge momentum where neighboring families are now coming to us and say, can you hire our daughter? Can she join? And this is completely a digital platform. And the
Right.
farmers who they interact with are also quite excited to see women coming to train them, and we have a whole training program for them, etc.
Sure. So, Jay, that particular bit is truly inspirational because financial independence of women can really take care of a lot of social issues that are there in our Indian society currently, and companies like yourself can really take a lead in bringing about those changes. But any future outlook or any thoughts you want to leave our viewers with when it comes to the whole sustainability thrust and where India is going on that path?
Yeah, so I believe that if you want to this fight for sustainability, the fight against climate change, the fight against decarbonize the world cannot happen without mobilizing the food system.
Yes.
Almost 15%, maybe even 20% of the world is involved in some form or other in food production, and if we have to be successful in this challenge, we have to reward and recognize
Mm.
agriculture farmers for better behavior. And
Yes.
UPL is committed to that, and reimagining sustainability is really driving the food system to make every food value chain more sustainable. We need to produce more food per acre. We need to use less resources. Today, the governments are supporting and incentivizing solar energy. They are supporting and subsidizing EV, and you get huge benefits from the government. What are we doing to encourage and reward farmers for better
Mm.
behavior? And I think everybody agrees that this needs to be done, and we are working on policy frameworks across the world on saying that what are the farmers going to get? Can they be rewarded for decarbonizing the world? Each acre of soil can absorb 10 tons of carbon. And if we can reward sustainable farming practices, you will see this challenge is a much faster. This can be achieved much faster than what we can do by just involving energy generation or transportation, electric vehicles, etc. This is a
Yes.
huge area where I believe that a little bit of reward and recognition for the whole
Yes.
food system to be more sustainable can drive that. So UPL is committed to bring in technologies which will help to
Mm.
decarbonize the world, and we have a huge portfolio of technologies which we have launched and going to launch over
Yes.
the next few years to be able to enable the food system, the farmers to be able to really help be more sustainable. And it's going to
Amazing.
cost them less. And it's going to
Yes.
cost them less.
Yes, in the end, it's going to be cost efficient, I'm sure. And Jay, these are very, very big plans and very important steps that you have mentioned. And yes, from the farmer class, if these sustainability thrust and also reducing carbon emission is practiced, it can do a lot for our environment as well. But thanks so much, Jai Shroff. It was very enriching chatting with you on sustainability and what all can be done to meet the ESG standards. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much.